Hello everyone, welcome to GED. Today I'm just going to do a quick review of my personal build going into the Dragonflight X pack for Demonology Warlock. I'm going to be reviewing all of the specs, pretty much the right side tree of most specs, but just know that the left side is very flimsy, very situational. It's most of your defensives. The only thing that you would really want to hit in the left side of a Demonology Warlock would be your haste for your pet with Demonic Inspiration, and your Demonic Embrace for stamina for both you and him, and then down at your capstone you can choose between your AoE Soul Keeper or your Inquisitor's Gaze, which is single target enemies for an hour. Really it's situational. The entire left side of pretty much every class is very personal. It's just what you like to take. Do you need more CC? Do you need more defense? That's pretty much your left side of your tree. But the right side, the right side is where the juicy parts really come to play. And I'm just going to be going over my personal build here. This is what I theorize as my personal build going into this. I'm going to preface it by splitting the tree down the middle. Basically on the left side here you have your imps and your demon bolt symbiology. Not quite sure what to say there. But basically, if you want to go left side, you're going to have bigger imps, you're going to have more demons on the field, technically, and you're going to have bigger demon bolts flying at your enemy. But let's just start with the first ability. Call Dreadstalker is pretty much your basic Dreadstalker spell. Why they made this an actual talent, I don't know. It's just a spell for all Demonology Warlocks, but apparently it's a talent point now. Same with Demon Bolt. It doesn't need to be a talent point. Like, they could throw anything in here that actually boosts Demon Bolt or changes the way it works, but no, we got basic spells as talents, so Demon Bolt it is. Dreadlash. This is the old AoE, 8-yard AoE for when you call your Dreadstalkers out. Very punchy, very powerful, good in AoE situations. So, it's boosted both AoE and single target, actually. Annihilian Training. Your Felguard deals 10% more damage and takes 10% less. Simple, effective, 10% more on your primary pet makes him that beefy Terminator we want to see. Next talent point, from the shadows, Dreadbite causes the target to take 20% additional Shadow Flame. So that's basically, I think it's your imps, but definitely your Demon Bolts, your Shadow Bolts, anything that's flamey, punchy. There you go, from the shadows. Just a nice little all-around 20% boost for your doggos. For this choice node, you can choose between Bile Scourge or Demonic Strength. I prefer Demonic Strength because I like using my pet as, or actually using this talent as an ability to move my pet around the battlefield. If you didn't know this, you can actually cast this spell, and while your Felguard is sitting there spinning to win, you can use my next talent, which is Soul Strike, in this double choice node between Vile Fiend and Soul Strike. I prefer Soul Strike because while my Felguard is spinning in Demonic Strength or spinning in his normal Fel spin, you can Soul Strike and he will stop what he's doing, move with the Soul Strike, and then resume the spin. So this will play in key to later talents when we look at them. Demonic Knowledge. Hand of Gul'dan, 15% chance to generate a charge of demonic core. So basically a 15% chance to refund 2 soul shards and do a little damage with an instant cast. Yes, I'll definitely take that. That's a punchy, powerful 1-point talent point just to get you down to the next tier. Next tier, I skipped a lot of the left side, so we're not even going to review those. Here we go with Carnivorous Stalkers. Your Dreadstalker's attacks have a 10% chance to do an additional Dreadbite. So again, your Dreadbite with Dreadlash is going to be doing more AoE, more damage. So we got AoE pretty well covered, even without Implosion in this build. We got the Demonic Strength, we got the Soul Strike, which later on it will be doing a little bit of AoE damage, not much. And then we have the extra Dreadbites, which can occur. Next up, we got Fellstorm and Dreadbite deal 20% additional damage. So there you go. More AoE cleave with that Fellstorm and that Dreadbite. So AoE, even single target, both being kind of like simultaneously buffed. Fellmite reduces the cooldown of Fellstorm by 10 seconds. This is very important for the next couple of layers, which will kind of go into the synergistic properties of the next row. Inner Demons, I took 1 point in this just because a passive imp summon every 12 seconds is not bad. I mean, imps do a lot of damage, and they actually play into your Tyrant later on in the build, so having an extra 2 of them is just like free imps on the table. Why would you pass it up? With a mediocre 5% chance of getting an extra demon, which the extra demon's not going to be doing a lot, but you know, you're always fishing for that little chance. A lot of Warlock stuff tends to fish for those chances. Demonic Calling, basically 20% chance, well, by casting Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt, you have a 20% chance to make your next Dreadstalker call cost 2 less soul shards, so it's only going to cost 1 soul shard, and have no cast time. This is basically our PvP talent, but it's in PvE, so I have to take it because it's just really good. It's very good with managing soul shard resources. Sorry, I'm having a tough time going over this tree right now. Managing those soul shards, getting extra doggos on the field, and just saving cast times. Grimoire Felguard is the next over here. It's just summon your Felguard for 17 seconds and he punches them in the face and stuns them. I mean, that's pretty much been a standard take for most PvP builds, but in PvE it's really good too, because another Felguard on the field will be boosting your Tyrant and will be interrupting with that stun and will be doing his damage all around the table. Next row, we skip the first 3 points and go into Demonic Meteor. Hand of Gul'dan deals 5% additional damage and has a 5% chance per soul shard spent of refunding a soul shard. So basically, again, you're fishing for more soul shards. You're managing soul shards with extra Gul'dan chance of getting demon cores, extra chances of getting them back. And down over here on the left side, if you take soul conduit, every soul shard also has a chance to be refunded. So you're kind of double dipping on soul shard refundiness. Saves you time casting shadow bolts, so you have more insta procs with demon bolt. You're not sitting in one place casting shadow bolts, and you're just dropping more Gul'dans for imps. Fell Sunder, here we go, playing into the previous talent above it where you get that cooldown on Fellstorm. Each time Fellstorm deals damage, it increases the target's damage it takes from you and your pets for 8 seconds up to 10%. So the more you the more you Fell Cleave, the more you're going to be Fell Sundering, which basically just giving you 10% extra damage most of the time. I think default on the Fell Cleave is like 45 seconds, and then it drops it down to 35 seconds with a little bit of haste mixed in there. So, you know, you're getting roughly about 1/3, 1/4 your time extra 10% damage buff on targets. Not bad, especially in AoE scenarios. Next here, again, we skip the left half and we go into Rip Through the Portal. Call Dreadstalkers, 100% chance. It's a 2-point node. 100% chance to summon an additional Dreadstalker. Another Dreadstalker is more damage. Dreadstalkers are very strong. They do a lot of damage. And another chance to get your Dread Bite triggering on them. So, Hounds of War, both of these are triggering into Dreadstalkers. Shadow Bolt and Demon Bolt have a 5% chance to reset the cooldown of Called Dreadstalkers. So, it's a very synergistic, I've said that word like 5 or 6 times, but really a lot of demonology tree, like all these talents kind of play off of each other. Very much different from a lot of class trees in general, is that like so many of these points just play off each other. Hounds of War, again, you're getting a reset on your Dreadstalkers, and then you're also fishing for the free casts of Dreadstalkers, right? So 20% chance to make your Dreadstalkers instant, so you can get a reset, an instacast, a reset, an instacast, another Dreadstalker, a bigger bite. It's just, you know, nice. It's very nice. This brings us down to the third tree, or, well, I guess the third section. Again, we're going on the right side, and Taurian Armaments. Your Felguard deals 20% additional damage, and Soul Strike now deals 25% AoE. Soul Strike is not super amazing for damage in general, but what you're really using Soul Strike for is the extra Soul Shard. It's an insta-cast ability you can cast on the move. It repositions your Felguard so it can be getting those cleaves onto the target, so it can be doing more damage, and then it's just free additional damage to him, which makes him the Terminator, basically. He's going to be doing crazy amounts of damage just as your primary pet. So many buffs, just 10% extra damage, 20% extra damage, extra haste from over here in Demonic Inspiration, and yeah, bigger Felguard's never a bad thing. But it gets better for him. Because right below this, sorry, I'm leaving this section here. I'm just going to go down in this tree. Leaving down here, when your imps expire or die, the expendables, the name of the talent, your other demons are inspired and get 1% extra damage. So every Hand of Gul'dan is basically 3% extra damage to your demons. So Felguard, again, getting buffed by another 10% basically all the time, because imps, you can quite easily keep 10 imps on the table. And down to the right side, Infernal Command. When your Felguard is active, your wild imps and dreadstalkers deal 20% additional damage. The reverse of what we just saw is imps and dreadstalkers now deal more damage. Again, we don't have implosions, so we're not going to be doing mega super implosions, but imps in general do a lot of damage throwing those little fell firebolts. So 20% extra damage on the dreadstalkers, huge, and the imps, not so huge, but still helping out quite a bit. And then our capstone is the guillotine, which I think pretty much everyone has seen in videos, where he throws down his axe. It's a very small AoE right now. I'm really hoping Blizzard increases the AoE of the axe in the ground. But basically, he throws down that axe, it pulses damage, and then himself, the Felguard, basically gets 50% haste. And on top of that, AoE cleave. So primarily, he is going to be punching 50% faster and everything around him, which basically I dare say it turns him into a Unholy Death Knight pet, basically. You know, when they use Unholy Transformation and he's just punching everything around him, that's basically Guillotine. It makes him a real monster. Even in single target, it's still good to make him get 50% haste. All right, and then the part we left out is just the very middle column here is your Demonic Tyrant. Nothing new there. He summons your Tyrant and he inspires your other demons by 15% extra damage. That means what? Your Felguard's now got 15%, 10%, 20%, 10%. Yeah, and extra haste. Felguard is going to be a monster. Then, basically, what person wouldn't want extra free soul shards when you summon your Tyrant? It's pretty much a given that you're going to take this. I do find at times that it is hard to spend your soul shards in preparation for a Tyrant, so some of these are probably wasted on cast often. But if you're a good warlock, you're managing them the best you can and preparing for that perfect moment to get those free soul shards when you summon your Tyrant. And then the last capstone is Reign of Tyranny. This is a choice between summoning and tyranny. I chose tyranny. This is basically the old life leech, but they've adjusted it. So basically every imp that's active gains a stack of servitude, and every greater demon, which is like Vile Fiend, Felguard, Pit Lord, whatever, does 2 stacks, and he gets 3% damage for every stack. So that just makes your Tyrant a bigger boss summon. And right now I think he's still on a 1.5 minute cooldown. So if you want a lower cooldown, you would change that to Wilfred's, which reduces that cooldown. But I prefer a punchy Tyrant over a quickened Tyrant. More Tyrants versus punchier Tyrant. I like the big punch damage because some fights you don't even end up summoning your Tyrant. Not in raids, I'm talking about like mythics, but I want a punchy Tyrant when I'm bringing them out. And that's pretty much the side I'm going. I want the big Felguard, I want the punchy Dreadstalkers, I want the imps that can't implode, but they still do a lot of damage and boost into that Tyrant, and he boosts them. I feel like there's enough AoE in this right side, even without implosion and other abilities that, keep it flowing, keep it nice. If you have any questions or comments, or want to talk about why I chose what I chose over other talents in this tree, feel free, spark up a conversation below.